This is Monday Morning Meditations number 270 on the Rising Man podcast with Jedi Azuma. What if instead of dropping the ball, you just chose to put it down? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Monday Morning Meditations here on the Rising Man podcast. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your week. Thank you for choosing to start it off here with us on the Monday Morning Meditation segment of the Rising Man. So without further ado, today's Monday morning transmission is dropping the ball versus placing the ball down. We've all had that moment before. You get loaded up with commitments. You have so many stacked up on your plate that all of a sudden you get a call from somebody who says, "Hey, Jedi." And as soon as you see that number come in on the caller ID, you're like, damn it, I forgot to call so-and-so. I forgot to send them that care package. I forgot to visit my grandma, whatever that thing was. Oh, that feeling of losing something from your attention. We have so many things going on in our lives. It's understandable that things fall off of our plate. It's a practice that we have of how we practice making and keeping commitments. But oftentimes, many of us, especially us dudes, we often fail by stacking our plates too high. And inevitably, we drop a ball, right? We all know that feeling in your gut when you let somebody down. And yes, dropping the ball, breaking a commitment always creates the possibility for recovery and repair. But what if in advance of dropping the ball, there was a different solution? I was working with a client recently and we were discussing this feeling of dropping the ball, how much it sucks and how much we don't like having to be in that position. And so we talked about what is there that I could do in advance, right? What if I'm starting to just survey how I'm doing in this moment? Let's say I'm in the middle of a big push, a big launch at work, and I've got big plans with my wife coming up on our anniversary, and it's also our cat's birthday. Just stack the plate up really high. What if I could anticipate that, wow, there's a lot of things going on in my life right now. I'm gonna take 10 minutes and just take a look at what I have going on and just do an inventory of what's going on in my life. What are all the different things that I've said yes to, things that I intend to show up for, and where is the ball going to get dropped? What is the thing that I'm going to forget? What is the thing that I might lose track of as I start to enter into this really busy season of my life? That would create an opportunity for me, instead of dropping the ball down the road, to choose to place the ball down right now. You see, I believe that the antidote for suffering is sacrifice. In advance of dropping the ball and suffering the pain and torment of letting someone down and breaking my word, what if I chose to place something down and said, you know what? I've got to renegotiate this. I said I was going to show up and I was going to help you paint your closet on Sunday. I got to push it another week. I got too much going on. I know that I gave you my word. I know I said I would do that, but how about we do it on Wednesday or Thursday? I just need a few more days to take care of what's right in front of me right now. And those conversations are not easy to have. The first step is having the attention and the awareness to say, whoa, I've got way too much going on. But it would create so much less harm, so much less chaos for me to choose to place a ball down than to let one ball drop. Because if you can imagine the visual right now, if you're watching the video, you can see my hands moving. If you're listening, just imagine juggling balls. That's where this phrase comes from, right? Dropping one of the balls that I've been juggling. What if I'm juggling 1, 2, 3, 10, 20 balls all at the same time, and then all of a sudden one falls? What happens next? It's a cascade effect. I drop one, and then I drop two, and then I drop all of the balls. And it creates chaos and balls rolling around everywhere. Whereas before I ever pick up the balls to start juggling, before I ever pick up all 20 balls and decide to start juggling them around, what if I chose 3 of them that I'm just going to place aside? Because I know that I can handle 17, but 20, that kind of pushes it to the limit. Now, this is a much more deliberate practice and choice in awareness, right? Having the awareness to see and perceive that might happen. That's life experience. We're all going to drop balls at some point. I'm just introducing a possibility that creates less chaos in my life. I can choose to put some things down. I can have some of those difficult conversations, renegotiate the timeline on which I was going to show up for something, for somebody, or even for myself, in order to show up for the most important, critical things. To me, this is the mark of high-level leadership, high-level awareness, high-level service, and offering to the community. Because those of us who ascend into these positions, where there's a lot of people who count on us, we have more and more things that enter into our field of awareness and our responsibility plate all the time. So we got to build these practices in. We We got to build these disciplines into our lives where we start to be more choiceful, more deliberate, more intentional with the things that we pick up and also the things that we put down. So think about this next time, maybe even right now, because I see a lot of men walking around in the world with a really full plate. What is one ball that you could afford to put down for now? How many times do we create timelines and deadlines for ourselves that are arbitrary and unnecessary? We accelerate and compress the timeline for no specific reason. I don't need to paint the closet this weekend. I could do it 2-3 weeks from now. Nobody even goes in that closet. Why did I prioritize that and say I was going to do it this Saturday when I have my anniversary, I've got my cat's birthday, I've got that deadline at work? Why would I add that to my plate? Because we have these unrealistic, poor calibrations of our timeline and our capacity. And building that discipline around perceiving and assessing our time and making these commitments in a choiceful and deliberate way, that's the mark of high leadership. Those are the types of people who can be trusted at another level. So think about dropping the ball versus placing the ball down. You can always pick it up again later. If you put 1 ball down, 2 balls down, you can always pick them up and add them into the mix anytime you want. But if you put yourself at the risk of dropping all of the balls that you're holding, that's a much bigger mess to clean up. That's often where men start to go into that dark, shadowy place. They don't know how to excavate themselves out of it. It takes a lot more work to pull yourselves out of the deep recesses of the cellar than to just simply place some balls down and pick them up later. So log this one in. I bet you're carrying more than you need to right now. And if you are, then what's one ball that you can place down that would just create a little more room and space for yourself so that you don't drop a whole bunch of other balls? Send this to somebody that you know is picking up balls and dropping balls left and right in their life, because they probably need to hear this right now, to have the permission to say, hey, you can put one down and choose to pick it up later. And make sure you tune in next week for another Monday morning meditation here on The Rising Man. I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting each and every week and showing up for us. Until next week, rise up and claim your destiny.